Hi folks, welcome back. So today's reaction is going to be Try Better Next Time by Placebo. Back when I was in my teenage years, Placebo were one of my favourite bands, and they were actually my first proper real gig, which was on their Without You I'm Nothing tour in the UK. I still have vivid memories of being there. Fantastic experience. I must admit though, after black market music, I kind of went to sleep a little bit on Placebo. My tastes had moved on to different things. I still do sort of hold those early albums in high regard and still listen to them every now and again. And in fact, actually I did a recent piano cover in a classical style, in like a romantic Chopin Liszt, Rachmaninoff kind of style of the song Without You I'm Nothing. And you can see that on my channel. And for any of you budding pianists out there, you can actually purchase the sheet music arrangement of that song that I made following the links in the description of that video. So I believe the band has changed its lineup, different things like that. Steve Hewitt is no longer part of the band. I'm sure that is very old news now, but I've not really watched any footage of Placebo playing without Steve Hewitt in it. So it was either Steve or the previous drummer on the first album. If you do happen to enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe and consider supporting me on Patreon. So without further ado, let's do it.
At the core of the earth, it's too hot to breathe. There's nothing much to eat, and everybody leaves. There's a place in the forest where the animals dance, carefree and joyous, like nobody's watching. And nobody's watching. So they laugh and they dance around mahogany trees, completely unawares they're gonna end up as me. And nobody's watching. Wake up, try better next time. Wake up, cry better next time. Wake up, try better next time. Wake up. So you know me, understand me, is that what you think? You haven't met the monster who wakes up when I drink.
Okay, so it's always big with Brian's lyrics. So a big part of the Placebo experience obviously is interpreting Brian's lyrics. So this is probably going to be a hard one for me, because if you're new to the channel, I'm a musician. I'm a classical piano teacher. I also play guitar, and I'm big on instrumental stuff, you know, so I'm primarily an instrumental musician. So whenever I react to music, lyrics are usually low down. It's usually second. Let's not kid ourselves. It's usually maybe the third or fourth time of listening to a song before I start really delving into it. So it'll be difficult for me to interpret anything. So what I'll probably do is focus on the instrumentation, and if I get any sort of sense of storytelling or narrative or whatever, I'll probably give that at the end. But don't hold me to that, because it's not really my area of expertise. So in terms of the musicality, what strikes me here is this sort of a calm. There's a serenity to the music, even whenever it starts to pick up and it becomes, you know, a wee bit more driving in the chorus there. It seems to be in G, and I think we're I'm guessing we're going to D. Yeah, so primarily we're moving back and forth between this G major and D major pattern. One thing is I'm certainly not getting the same sort of angsty vibes, which would make sense. I mean, the guys are pushing on a wee bit now, aren't we? Aren't we all? I did notice in the choruses that there were some sort of dissonant notes, sounded like sort of seconds, sevenths, ninths, those kind of things. I would need to listen to it again to figure out exactly, but this kind of thing, like say you're playing a G major 7 chord, you get the F sharp in there. It's slightly clashing, slightly dissonant, or if you had the A. I think the melody is in around there somewhere, now I think about it. So, Brian, with his vocal, is maybe providing some of that sort of extra musical dissonance, along with sort of layered guitars in the background. So, despite it being G major, D major, if you take into consideration those extensions of the chords, we do get a little bit more depth and dimension. It's not just a straightforward G major, D major, happy type scenario, Also notice some nice sort of double strokes on the snare. We got that sort of lilting dun 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 dun. I think it was in the chorus there. We picked up on that. Although whenever I tuned into that snare beat, I was kind of expecting it to come every other phrase, and it didn't. So that in itself I enjoy. If things are a little bit too predictable, I guess that dampens my experience overall. I like to see sort of constant sort of creativity a lot in music. So even though it's sort of within a sort of pop rock sort of alty kind of domain, there's still a couple of little nuances in there that sort of separate them from what sort of any band would do with this sort of basic harmonic setup. Okay, so let's push on.
So you know me, understand me, is that what you
now the
think?
synthesizer on the left.
Haven't met the monster who wakes up when I drink. I was born out of time, I'm not meant to be here, where the weight of the world and the weight of a tear are exactly the same. Wake up, wake up.
There is those notes. Yeah, it's nice.
Wake up, try better next time. Wake up,
that double snare.
Cry better next time. Wake up,
catchy chorus.
Try better next time. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Guitars up into the higher octaves now.
Wake up, wake up, cry better next time. Wake up, wake up, try better next time. Wake up, wake up. There's a spot in the ocean, and that's where we'll meet. Somewhere far away where fish can nibble at our feet, and we can grow fins, go back in the water. Grow fins, go back in the water. Grow fins,
E minor,
go back in the water. Grow
D.
fins, go back in the water.
I like that. Grow fins and go back in the water. Go back, evolutionarily from an evolutionary point of view. Some nice lyrics in here, definitely jumping out. Got that sort of melancholic, bittersweet. There's always a sort of tinge of sadness and darkness to Brian's lyrics, which is sort of weird because it's definitely contradictory if you pair that with the music. It's very odd. This might seem like a sort of tenuous parallel, but it almost reminds me a little bit of the classical composer Schubert. So with Schubert, rather oddly, a lot of the time whenever Schubert writes in a sort of typically happy key, it's more than that, but whenever you're thinking about major and minor, if you want to consider it, say major is mainly happy and minor is normally sad, and this is obviously all in major. There's only one minor chord so far, but it's weird now when you start pairing it with the lyrics and the sort of emotion and the nuance from Brian's voice, it definitely transports everything. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say about Schubert is if you listen to something that's overtly in a major key by Schubert, it almost sounds more sad than if he was to write something in minor, and you don't really get that with any other composer, at least none that I've really come across. If you take his sort of famous the impromptu in G flat major, number 3, G flat major. If I play a little bit off the top of my head, I only play a couple of bars that I can recall, but I think you'll see what I mean. Now it does go to the E flat minor in the second bar, but straight off we're in a major key, and there is a sadness to it. What do you hear? Obviously, that's just a very, very brief example, but hopefully you get the point I'm trying to make. Okay, so let's move on. That was a nice little breakdown, by the way, there, where everything dropped out. So he's keeping the harmonic content the same, but yeah, nice structure in terms of bringing the changing the dynamics, bringing the low end out, and then you could hear we're starting to build up. I think we're probably going to build up into the chorus again. I mean, it's a short song, so there's not much room or extra structure or textures in here to come.
Go back in the water, grow fins. Go back in the water, grow fins. Go back in the water, grow.
Nice synthy stuff happening in the background.
Go back in the water.
A bit of feedback on the guitar, chorus. Somebody take a picture before it's too late. Bit of sarcasm in there. Definitely an interesting one. So I wonder how many of you guys out there have a similar experience to me listening to this. How many of you are... maybe I'm in a small percentage of people who were like a massive Placebo fan in the early days, then kind of lost track. So there's been a long period where Placebo have existed that I've not really followed them, not really sure what they're doing. But what does stand out to me here is the simplicity, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense whatsoever. In fact, it's an incredibly difficult thing to do, to write a simple piece of music that's emotional and effective. So they've definitely got a catchy chorus there, which, despite it sounding very catchy off the mark, doesn't remind me of any other song. So we've definitely still got the songwriting knack that they've always had. I'm looking forward to sort of dig into the lyrics a little bit more whenever I sort of have repeated listens. Definitely some lovely words that jumped out to me. So if you guys have any recommendations for filling in the gaps when it comes to Placebo, everything sort of from Blackwater Park by Opeth, Black Market Music onwards, where should it go? Anything you'd like to see me talk about on the channel, comment below and let me know, please. So thank you very much for watching, guys. See you all next time.